Hi ladies and gents, welcome back to Guide to Solidworks. In this tutorial today we are going to be looking at how we go around designing this spring. Now there's a multitude of springs that you can design, and the most commonly one that people do on Solidworks is just a straight up helix spring, where effectively it's the full working length of a spring all the way along. Now in this spring we've got three parts. So we've got a lower compound spring here where it's got a compressed or a shortened end on it. We've got the working section in the centre where we've got our separated coils, and then we've got our two condensed coils again at the top here, and they're both flat ends on top and bottom. So we're going to go through this process of creating this. I'll take you through how we make a spring generally, and then we'll have a look at how we go into making this one. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is pick a plane to work on. So let's pick the top plane, and I'm going to sketch on here a circle. Now this circle, I want to make sure it is to the size of the centre of where I want the centre diameter of my spring to be. So what that means is I'm going to set this to a 40mm diameter, and on that I would have a circle set onto the centre of that at the side, and that circle would be able to revolve up the helix to create the thickness of the spring, which is what we're going to do. So once we've got this circle, from this circle we're going to create our helix or our spiral upwards. So I'm going to come to features, I'm going to come to curves, and I've got a helix and spiral option here. If I click on that, that'll give me a demonstration of a helix here that we could create. Now this at the moment, if we look at the options down the side, is showing me that it's pitch and revolution. Now there are multitudes of options we can work in here. So we can work in pitch and revolution, we can work in height and revolution, which is the overall height and the number of revolutions that I want. We've got height and pitch, which is the overall height and the pitch I want for each complete revolution. So from one end of a loop to the other end of a loop. And I've got the basic spiral. Now I'm going to work in height and pitch for this, like so. Now you'll see if I'm using height and pitch that I've got a height of 39 millimeters and a pitch of 39 millimeters. So what that's given me is one complete revolution from the same position, okay, because my height and my pitch are exactly the same. Now if I want to get my height and pitch different, that will start to create a multitude of revolutions rather than just the one. So here I'm going to select a height of 80, and I'm going to take a pitch of 15, and you'll see instantly that's changed. So I've got the height from bottom to top being 80 and the pitch across them being 15. Now I'm going to set my start angle here to 0 and tick there. Now from ticking there, what that's done is created this helix all the way up here. What you'll also see at the bottom still is that circle. Now if I click anywhere on the screen, that'll get rid of that circle. Now it's created a consistent helix all the way up to the top. I'm just going to show you, if we've got this scenario, how we make a spring that's just the full working coil. So running up through that, I'm going to pick a plane to draw on. So let's pick the right plane there, and I'm going to sketch on that plane. Now I'm going to put a circle here on this right plane. Doesn't matter where it is, I'm just going to put it down near the bottom. I'm going to set the diameter of this circle to 5 mil. The reason for that is I want that to be the diameter of the spring. Oh, not 55. There we go. So I want that to be the diameter of the spring. Now you'll see at the moment my circle's miles away from my spiral, but if I click the center of it here, hold Control, click the spiral, and click PS, and it'll drag it over. Okay. Now to be able to do a sweep up this, I need them to be pierced together. So I've pierced that to that. So if I go to Feature now, and go to Sweep, if I click on the circle that I've made there as my feature that I want to sweep, and then my path is my spiral, click on that, and it'll sweep it all the way up. Tick there, and I now get my spring shape, like so. I can hide this spiral line that's going through, so if I just right click on that and hide, and it won't show the line through the center anymore. There is one more thing I want to do to this, which is to take off the top and the bottom so that they're flat. So if I go to the right hand plane, and I'm going to sketch on that right hand plane. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a center line from my origin, which is the bottom of my spring, straight up, and I'm going to set a distance of that of 80, because I know the height of my spring is 80. And that will give me a center line straight through there. Now with a corner rectangle, I'm going to come across here. Doesn't matter the size as long as it's wider than the spring itself. I'll draw that up there, and then I'm going to click the top of my center line and the bottom of my rectangle line, and I'm going to make them related by the midpoint. So I'm just clicking on each, holding Control, and I'm going to do the same again at the bottom. So rectangle, click the line, going across on the rectangle, click the bottom of my center line, and I'm going to create a midpoint relationship again. Now I've got them two in, I'm going to go to Features, and I'm going to go to Cut. Now with these, I'm going to cut them across the midpoint. I want them to go out the same distance each way. So rather than going blind in my direction, I'm going to go to mid-plane, and I'm just going to increase that so it's wider than the spring, like so, and tick. Now what that'll do is creates a flat end to my spring at the top and also at the bottom, like so. Now that's all good. That's given me an ideal working spring, so the springs all the way, they're the same all the way along. However, with most springs, this is not the case. Normally we have a shortening at the bottom where we have two of our spring rotations quite tight together, and the same at the top. So we're going to have a look at how we create that as well. So using this, I'm going to edit it to get the other one. So I'm going to go back to my helix here. I'm going to right click on that helix and go to edit. Now at the moment I've been working in a constant pitch, which keeps everything the same all the way along. Now I did my helix all clockwise, but if I'd have selected the anti-clockwise or counterclockwise option, it had just sent it the other way around, like so. You can see there the flick in between. What I'm going to do though is, rather than changing the direction, I'm going to go now from a constant constant pitch to a variable pitch. So if I just click there, like so. Now this is going to give me my data from the information that I've already plugged in. I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger so you can see it a bit better. Okay. Right, so what we've got here then is our starting point, which is 0, and the pitch from that starting point. Now I want to change this because I want it to be condensed, more condensed at the bottom. So I'm going to set this pitch to just slightly bigger than the diameter of my spring thickness. So I've set the spring thickness at 5 mil, so I'm going to go to 5.1 in that box. So 5.1 in there, and enter that in. Now I started at 0, but I want it to go 10 mil up at that thickness. The reason for that is because my diameter is 5, so if I do 10 mil up and I've got 5.1 in there, I'm pretty much getting 2 full revolutions. I'm getting 1.96, so I'm pretty much there. And you can see now, if I just show you on here, what's happening with my helix. Let's move that box out of the way. So you can see there what's happening with that helix. The fact that it's coming up and it's coming a lot tighter. Now I've gone from 0 to 10 millimeters with a pitch of 5.1 meters, well 5.1 millimeters. Now my distances are going to go up accumulatively in my heights. So I want to go up again, and I want to go up another 5 millimeters. So that means I'm going to go up to 15. And I want my pitch over that 5 millimeters to change from 1.1 to 15. Okay, now I put 15 in just for the fact that it is 3 times the height of, or 3 times the thickness or the distance of my diameter of my spring. Now that's not a precise working measurement or anything, that's just something that I like to use as a nice looking spring. You can get the sizes exactly of what size you would make your individual springs to off the internet if you want to get spring sizes or a Zeus table. There's lots of places you can look for them. But for this one, I'm just going 3 times bigger, so my pitch has gone up to 15, and you'll see it starts to widen now. And I want that 15 millimeter pitch to go through to 65 millimeters high, keeping it 15 there. So you'll see that that continuing thickness staying at 15 now all the way up to 65 millimeters. So it's gone up another 50 mil, and that's my working length section. So I've got 50 mil there effectively of working length. Now I'm going to tighten it back up at the top, so I want to start reducing the pitch now. So from 65 to 70, so over another 5 mil. I want it to drop from a pitch of 15 mil back down to 5.1. And you'll see it now just rotating around and getting a little bit tighter. And then from 70 through to 80, so finishing distance of 80 there, I want it to continue on at 5.1 millimeter pitch. And you'll see now if we start to move some of this around, it's getting a little bit crazy with all these on here, but we can maneuver some of them around. And we should be able to see things a little bit better. Let's slide some of these out of the way. Okay, so this is just all of our data for each of our movements here. So if I zoom in on this spring now, so you will see, no, it's not liking to play along, but you'll see now how it's getting tighter again at the top, and also tighter at the bottom. So we've got a tight spring at the top, tight spring at the bottom, and then our working length in the middle here. Just through following that simple process. Now if I tick this, it should modify my drawing to suit, or my model. And we can see there it has done. So it's modified the model, keeping the flat end on the top and the bottom. It's still an 80 mil long spring. It's just now got a condensed section at the top and the bottom, and that middle section of a working spring, like so. Final thing I want to do to this is just add a appearance to it. So let's go for a coating process. Most of, like for instance, springs, like car springs and things, are coated. So let's go for a coating process. So we'll do an appearance of a body on the body, and we're coming into this section here. I'll drop down my appearances. I'm going to go to painted, and I'm going to go to a powder coating. I'll click on the powder coating here, and then coming across, I'm just going to change the colour from white over to a red colour, like so. Tick there, and I've got my spring finished off in a powder coating. Now that tutorial takes you through how we create a spring with our condensed tops and bottoms on. and also just a generic working spring all the way up, so you can have a go at creating both, or either, it's up to you. Hopefully that was useful for you, gave you something to think about and something to try out. If you enjoyed that, please give us a big like. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, and thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.